Guys, welcome back to the channel. S here from S&A's Orgonite Creations. Now, what I'm going to try to do here is explain exactly how Orgonite works. A little bit of science behind it, and yeah, there's a force in science known as the Casimir Effect. So, what I'm going to do is explain that. I'm going to show you some writings on the old Google, and Ken Roller himself actually explains this as well, the Casimir Effect, how it works in Orgonite. Now, not all Orgonite is created equal, and whether you get this effect or not determines on how it's made. So yeah, you need very fine metal particles, and what I'm going to do is come over here to a TV screen, and I'm going to show you some information. Alright, so what we've got here, whoops. Now all you need to do is you can Google this yourself. So the Casimir Effect, as you can see here in front of you. Now I'm going to read a little bit, but you can go ahead and pause this, read it yourself, or you can just go ahead and Google it. So yeah, the screen's a little bit funny. So what the important stuff is, now where am I going? I'll just read from here. So the Casimir Effect can be understood by the idea of the presence of the conducting metals, and dielectric alters the vacuum expectation value of the energy of the second quantized electromagnetic field. So since the value of this energy depends on the shape and position of the conductors and dielectrics, the Casimir Effect manifests itself between such objects. So that's very important. So the Casimir Effect manifests itself between such objects, okay? So the Casimir Effect will actually generate and make and create and manifest itself, this energy. So this energy is known in science by 0-point energy. So the Casimir Effect actually makes this 0-point energy. Now that's the same energy as scalar waves, life force energy, chi, prana, and all that, okay? It's all the same subtle energies that this effect manifests itself between via the metal. Okay, now I'm going to continue reading. So any medium supporting oscillation has the analog of the Casimir Effect. For example, beads on a string, as well as plates submerged in noisy water or gas, illustrate the Casimir force. Okay, so now in science, so that's what that does in science. Okay, so let me explain. So with this here, for example, and how we make it, we use metal powders or metal dust, and it's submerged in resin. Okay, so that's what it's saying. It's submerged in resin. Similar to like maybe beads on a string, so they're submerged or however. So it's in a medium. Okay, so when we make this stuff, we've got our metal dust or metal particles, and we mix it within our resin. So each individual piece of dust is actually coated with resin, so it's suspended. The metals are not touching. So that's very important. So a lot of people just say they're making one of these, like in a muffin tin or pan or whatever. They get a lot of big pieces of metal and they put it in there, and then they pour the resin. Now all the metals are actually touching each other, physically touching each other. We don't do that, okay? Because it's powder and dust, and we go ahead and mix it within the resin, it's coating each individual piece, and then we pour it. It's different. Okay, so we are creating much of this Casimir Effect, and yeah, definitely that's how you get it done. So Ken Roller explains this. If you Google, YouTube, Ken Roller and Orgonite, you'll come up with a video where he briefly explains this as well. So yeah, now so that's one way Orgonite actually works. Now there's multiple ways, all right, and other understandings. So now Wilhelm Reich, if you don't know him, you should research this, because he actually discovered that this energy does, like scientifically, that this energy does indeed exist, and he can actually condense and harness it, if you will. So what he did was built orgone accumulators, right? So what he discovered was, by layering a box of organic and inorganic layers, will actually accumulate energies. So life force energy or negative energy as well. So all energy, so be good or bad. So if you built one of these orgone accumulators, for example, and put it in a place like high in Wi-Fi or by a cell phone tower or something, you're gonna accumulate negative energy. And if you sat within that box, you're gonna get sick. Okay, but yeah, and if you did the same thing but put it out in nature, by pristine nature, waterfall, there's no cell phone towers, and it's the way nature's supposed to be, you're going to accumulate life force energy and you're going to condense it. And if you sat in there, you're going to have massive healing if there was something wrong with you. Okay, it's going to be very beneficial for you, right? So why would you want something like this by your Wi-Fi or by you or whatever? How does this work? Is it different? Yes, it is different than an organic accumulator. So he discovered organic and inorganic layers, so metals and non-metals. That's how he built his boxes. So he discovered that metals will actually attract and repel this energy, just energies. And he discovered that organic material, like the resin, is actually technically organic that this is in. It contains the carbon molecule, making it organic. Actually will attract and store the energy. So you've got this push-pull, or a scrubbing action taking place. And so how does it throw out this energy? By the metals, because it repels. So things are getting sucked into it. There's resin all through this. It's actually storing it, but the metals are repelling it. So it's always attracting and repelling, okay? Now, it's always attracting, repelling, and it's also changing the energy, okay? So if it's bad from a Wi-Fi or cell phone tower, it's actually changing it. Now, how is it doing that? Because Orgonite is different than an organic accumulator, because this is loaded with crystals. He didn't build his organic accumulator with crystals, okay? So what crystals do we use? Every piece we have has crushed up selenite and crushed up quartz crystal within all the metal layers. You cannot see it, but it's mixed in, okay? It's all mixed in. I've got videos of us doing that and showing you how we do that. But now quartz, for example, is very good at balancing energies, okay? So transmuting energies, balancing out energies. So selenite, as well as, it always, it charges and changes and the energies as well. So it's always charging and it's always clearing the energies, okay? So any negativity it cannot hold. So the energy is coming in. If it's bad, it's going to actually transmute and change it into, positive healing life force energy, because the crystals have their own energy signature, their own frequency about them that cannot be altered or changed. So anything coming into it will actually change that, okay? Now we add other crystals. For example, this is black tourmaline, so it's very grounding, and that's also good for EMF Wi-Fi protection as well. And this one here is got amethyst in it. This particular piece has amethyst as well, which is a type of quartz as well. Now, them being in resin as well, because the resin actually shrinks upon it, creating pressure on all the crystals. Now you're creating the piezoelectric effect as well. So another way how Orgonite works. So the piezoelectric effect will actually amplify the effects of the crystals and make them work much stronger. And not only that, when they're under pressure, and this here, it actually generates these scalar waves or orgone waves or whatever you want to call it. It actually produces some of that. So you've got a lot going on for this. So far we've got the Casimir Effect, and we've got Wilhelm Reich's knowledge of the organic and inorganic materials, attracting and accumulating this. So, and the Casimir Effect creating and manifesting this 0-point energy or orgone energy or life force energy. And not only that, then you've got the crystals and the piezoelectric effect. So you've got 3 things going right there. Now, there's more, because certain pieces that we do actually have shungite in it. Now, shungite is a mineral or a crystal or a rock or whatever you want to call it. Shungite will actually change anything negativity that's coming into it as well into a positive spin. Basically, healthy stuff that's, how do I say it? Is compatible with us, our biofield or our life force field or our energy or our being, has a clockwise spin, okay? Clockwise rotation. So anything negative has an anti-clockwise. So all the Wi-Fi, for example, the energies, any pollutants in that will have a certain spin about it, a bad spin, a negative spin, okay? Shungite will actually take that and actually change and structure it. It'll structure water. It'll change the water as well. It's good for structuring water, as Orgonite itself is as well. So by having shungite in here, it's really good. So now you've got 4 different ways that this is doing it. Now the 5th way, okay, so everything we put in here has a purpose. Now the 5th way, see that copper coil? Right now it's actually clockwise. So if you start in the center and you follow that S pattern now, it's going clockwise, yeah? But if you looked at it, for example, if you could look at it this way, it's actually counterclockwise. So only the way this works is that actually only the bad stuff can come up through this way of the copper coil is, but only the good stuff, because it changes the rotation, comes out of this way, okay, and actually throws it up and actually throws this life force energy out, gives it more range, if you will, throws out the range further, okay? So it's really throwing out this life force orgone energy. So I'm trying to explain how this works. So what was that? Is that 5 different ways that we've got? So, like I was saying earlier, Orgonite is not created equal. We know how to make it strong. We've done freeze testing, and you can see the effects of that. Not only that, plant growth, but now we've got this here device, which I love. This is good. So this is one way that you can sort of test. So I'll turn it on, and you can see it in its workings, okay? So basically it's close to 0. It's not quite set on 0. So you can tune this in. We'll get it basically on 0 in a sec. A little bit more, my hand's interfering with it. That's on 0, okay? So as I approach this, you can see the meter going up, okay? And if I touch it, that blue with the probe it's going to max out and go up to 100% or maxed out at 100. There we go, touching it, yeah? Backing off, you can see as I do this, up and down, you can see it, okay? So I'm not touching it. When I do, it does max out. So basically what this device is supposed to help you find out is, because we're alive, we have life force energy about us. That's why this meter is, that's what this meter is supposed to be sensing. So by putting a device like this on, it being, an attractor, it attracts all energies and throws it out. There's life force energy with this. You can just put a straight up quartz crystal on there and have a reading as well. But what I'm going to do is just show you guys, if you haven't seen other videos, you can see, okay? You can see that this here gives off this energy, all right? So it's similar, to our life force energy, okay? So the crystals basically are alive. They have an energy signature. And yeah, the way this works, Casimir Effect, you've got the organic and inorganic materials doing, similar stuff, copper cores, crystals, piezoelectric, all that stuff going on for this, okay? So very powerful stuff. Yeah, and then you got some backed by a bit of science, the Casimir Effect. And if you want to produce this stuff that has the Casimir Effect, I've said how to do that. You can Google it. You can find out. You can research Wilhelm Reich, how he discovered all this stuff, and his orgone accumulators and things like that. He done lots of other testing as well. So basically, yeah, he's proven this, and he called it orgone energy. So there's heaps of other names for it. Life force, chi, mana, prana, zero-point energy known in science, scalar waves. But here goes. What I'm trying to do is just explain how this stuff works, okay? And it is by science as well. It's just not mainstream. You have to actually research and find this out for yourself. These devices do work. We get lots of testimonials as well from people, writing back to us. Now, they don't have to write back to us email. You're going to just have to take my word for it, but they email us. So people that, we ship most of our stuff overseas, over to America. But yeah, once we've sent it, we've done our job, we've sent it, we've received payment, it's all good. They don't have to write back to us, but some people actually do because they're noticing benefits. For example, like, there's a lady that can't have sleep through the whole night. She's never slept through the whole night. She always gets up throughout the night. And by having a pyramid, one of her parents can wake, she has said that she's able to sleep through the whole night, and she hasn't been able to do that for many, many years. Okay, so stuff like that. There's another lady that her immune system was compromised. She was always sick with colds and flus and things like that for months. She couldn't shake it no matter what she did. All right, and so she wanted something for her immune system. And I gave her a pendant loaded with red jasper. Okay. It had black iron oxide powder and shungite powder and, and quartz and sunlight in it as well. And yeah, when she wore that, she goes, seriously, like, a couple of days after wearing it, her sickness went away and she was feeling great and she couldn't believe it. So she had to write back to us to let us know that she, basically had this sensation. She had this, it was definitely helping, and that's all she did was change that, and she was wearing a pendant and she just never felt good, better sort of thing, the sickness went away and it's been months. So things like that. And there's definitely others, but yeah, I'm going to end this video here and stay tuned for more info, because I do have a lot of knowledge and it's all due to just research, okay, guys? So you can research all this and, yeah. All right, that's it, guys. I'll stop blabbering, and thanks for watching and stay tuned for more videos.